Have you ever noticed something that once disturbed you no longer produces the same reaction? Not because it became right, because it became familiar. A brother hears another rumour after a meeting, a married publisher, a private relationship, another inappropriate attachment, another shepherd calling. He barely reacts anymore. The realization unsettles you more than the rumour itself. The congregation has entered a different stage now, not merely sexual immorality, normalization. A sister quietly discovers her husband has resumed contact with someone he previously promised to avoid. The argument feels strangely familiar, not because it never mattered, but because they've already lived through versions of this before. An elder receives another report involving emotional attachment, and possibly more than that, inappropriate messaging and concealed meetings between publishers from neighbouring congregations. Nobody seems surprised, only tired. The Kingdom Hall still appears morally structured, and that's the contradiction. The standards remain unchanged, the emotional response to violating them continues fading, and inside performance-governed religious systems like the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of the Jehovah's Witnesses, their Kingdom Halls and propaganda, repeated exposure slowly produces desensitization. The Watchtower self, defending the standard, the real self, increasingly adapts to the failure. Another marriage enters quiet crisis. Another publisher becomes emotionally attached outside the marriage and the organisation. Another pornography confession comes forward. Another secret conversation crosses a boundary. Another rumour begins circulating, and gradually a dangerous realisation settles across the congregation. People no longer assume purity. They assume concealment. A husband wanders and wonders what remains hidden rather than what remains true. A wife notices unusual warmth between two publishers and immediately suspects there's more to the story. An elder quietly realizes many shepherding conversations are no longer exceptional events. They have become reoccurring patterns throughout the congregation and the organization. The room still sounds spiritually confident. The congregation increasingly feels morally exhausted. And the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society repeatedly reinforces sexual purity, faithful marriage, moral cleanness, congregation discipline, and organizational loyalty as evidence of spiritual safety. Yet, repeated exposure without transformation slowly weakens the congregation's sensitivity toward corruption itself. The scriptural witness presses directly into the atmosphere. Ephesians 4:19 warns about becoming callous. 1 Corinthians 15:33 warns that bad associations corrupt good character. And Galatians 6:7 reminds believers that what is sown is eventually reaped. And again, the final song begins. The voices out of sufferance rise. Families gather, yet disjointed. Publishers smile warmly beneath familiar Kingdom Hall lighting, some lights flickering. And somewhere beneath the carefully maintained spirituality, The congregation quietly crosses another threshold. Sexual sin no longer shocks people. Only getting caught does.